2, 1, 2. Yes, it does. One, two, three, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, testing. Testing for Shabbat. Here we go. Thank you.
All right, yeah, we can start.
Shabbat Shalom. Anytime that I'm singing, I hope that you will feel free to sing with me, to clap, to move your bodies, to do whatever it is that you feel moved to do. We're going to start with a simple melody. It goes like this.
Keep welcoming Shabbat on page 10. You know the words, Hine ma tov, how good it is to be here together. Page 10.
Hine ma tov manayim, sheverachim gam yachad. 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 Hine ma tov manayim, shevetachim gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
It is good to be here together. We hope you're managing to stay cool this week. We thought this Shabbat we would come inside to the air conditioning. I want to extend a special welcome back, really, to cantoral soloist Lisa Marcus Jones. Lisa has been with us on our Bema on several occasions. even prior to my being here. So welcome back, and Lisa will be sharing her music with us tonight. We, of course, hope you will join us. As always, add your voices to prayer, to song, to reading, offer the prayers from your hearts as well, and we'll move into this sacred time of Shabbat together, a time of rest and peace and joy. Welcome as well to those joining us on live stream. And it's an honor to invite Diana Holliner to bless our Shabbat candles this evening. We're on pages 2 and 3.
As these Shabbat candles give light to all who behold them, so may we, by our lives, give light to all who behold us. As their brightness reminds us of the generations of Israel who have kindled light, so may we in our own day be among those who kindle light. Atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. And as we have brought in the light of Shabbat into our sanctuary, into our souls, we're going to continue with a psalm, Psalm 96. And you can find the Hebrew on page 13. We will also add some English words, which you can find on page 344. And the Psalms, especially this psalm, reminds us to infuse our prayer with new spirit, to add a new voice to our songs.
Sing unto God, all the earth, a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God, and we'll all sing along. All the earth, a new song unto God. Shiru l'Adonai, I will sing unto God a new song.
On page 20, we continue with L'Chadodi as we welcome in the face of Shabbat, the Shabbat bride, and we'll join in verses 1, 2, 5, and 9 on the last verse. If you are able to rise, we'll face our doors and again continue to bring in Shabbat.
L'Chadodi likat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat yekabela. L'Chadodi likat kalai, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat yekabela. yalalai, yalalai, b'nei Shabbat, v'kavela, verse 5, Hitori, Hitori, Hivarei, Uri, 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 Shir Daveri, Kevod Adonai, Alayich Nigla, Lichatoti Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, V'kavela, Lichatoti Likrat Kala, Yalalai, 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 B'nei Shabbat, V'kavela. Boi v'shalom ateret hala, gam b'simcha u'b'tzola, tov emunei am segula, boi hala, boi hala. Lechadoti likrat kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, v'kavela. Lechadoti likrat kala, yalalai, 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 b'nei Shabbat, v'kavela.
We remain standing and turn to page 26 for Chatzi Kaddish, again, our bridge into our call to prayer.
Yitkadar, Yitkadash Merabah, Be'alma divrach irutei, Be'amlich malchutei, Bechai echon u'b'yom echon, U'chayed echol bet Yisrael, Bagala, Bagala, U'bizman kariv, V'yimeru, Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabba mevorach, Le'olam Re'al me'almaya, Yitbarach, Yitbarach, V'yishabach, V'yitpa'ar v'yirama v'yitnaseh, V'yitadar, V'yitaleh, V'yitalal, Shemed Kedusha Brichu, Le'elam Mikol Birchata V'shirata, Tushbechata V'nehemata, Damihan B'alma, V'yimeru, Amen.
Entrances to holiness are everywhere. The possibility of ascent is all the time, even at unlikely times and through unlikely places. There is no place on earth without God's presence. Page 28.
La 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 la, la 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 la
join together in the English on the top of page 31, our blessing for creation, a reminder that we are part of the greater cosmos, and perhaps the new pictures from space also remind us of this reality. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Your wisdom sets the way on which time and season glide. Your breath guides the sail of the stars. Creator of the tide of time and light, you guide the current of day into night. As heaven spans to infinity, you set its course for eternity. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, from whom the evening flows. Baruch atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Page 32.
Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Ahavta, Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu lemadeta, Otanu lemadeta. Al ken Adonai Eloheinu v'shochbenu, ufkumenu nasiach bechukecha, v'nismach b'divrei toratacha, u'b'mitzvotecha le'olam. Yihem chayenu be'orech yameinu, uvahem negei yomam v'layla, negei yomam v'layla. Ahavatcha atasir, mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael, Ohev amo Yisrael.
Page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
Please be seated, and we chant together on page 36 these words that tell us to take God's message, to take these words into our hearts and soul and our entire being.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavcha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol yodecha. Ve'hayu hadarim ha'eleh asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibarta bam, b'shivtecha b'beitecha, uv'lechtecha b'derech, uv'shochbecha uv'kumecha, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך
et kol mitzvotai, v'tem kedoshim le'elechem. Ani Adonai Elohechem, asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim, liot lachem le'Elohim. Ani Adonai Elohechem. Emet. Thus you shall remember to observe all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am Adonai your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt to be your God. I am Adonai your God. We link these words to our Song of the Sea on page 40. And for those of you who attend regularly, you've probably heard Rabbi Micah and I say, you know, we really would like to learn a new Mi Chamocha. So I'm very excited.
Yes. So tonight we are going to sing a special Mi Chamocha written by Alana Arian. And I will teach you the B section, the section that you will sing, and feel free to sing on any section, but it goes like this. Who is like you, Adonai? Let's try that. Ready? Who is like you, Adonai? And then it repeats. Who is like you? But we hold it longer right here. Adonai. Ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Mi chamocha v'helim Adonai, mi chamocha nedar b'kodesh, na tehila asef eleh, na tehila asef eleh. Who is like you, Adonai? Who is like you, Adonai? Ya la la la, ya la 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 la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la 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 la.
V'namar ki fadar Adonai et Yaakov, ugalo miyad chazak mimenu, baruch ata Adonai, Ga'al Yisrael. Every evening we pray for rest and peace and a shelter. And, you know, especially if you just got back from camp, it is probably bedtime. So we're going to move into our prayer for the evening, Hashkivenu, as we pray for restful nights ahead to new days that we can wake up to, a new life. Page 42. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Ehavidenu shomreinu lechaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom, Ehavidenu shomreinu lechaim. Shivenu Adonai Eloheinu leShalom Hamidenu Shomreinu leChaim. Let's join together in the English on the bottom of page 44. Those who keep Shabbat by calling it a delight will rejoice in your realm. The people that hallow Shabbat will delight in your goodness. For being pleased with the seventh day, you hallowed it as the most precious of days, drawing our attention to the work of creation. We rise in body or in spirit, page 46, as we move into our tefillah, which we will begin together and pause for silent prayer to add the prayers from our hearts.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor V'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'Zocher Chasdei Avot V'Imahot Umevi Geula Livnei V'neihem Leman Shemo Be'ahava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch atah Adonai Magen Avraham Ve'ezrat Sarah Atah Gibor Le'olam Adonai Mechayeh HaKol Atah Rav Hoshia Mori Atah Mechalkel Chaim Bechesed Mechayeh HaKol Berachamim Rabim Somech Noflim V'Rofeh Cholim Umatir Hasurim Umekayem Emunato Lishenei Afar Michamocha Ba'givurot Umidam Melach Melech Memit Umechayeh Umatzmiach Yeshua V'ne'eman atah le'achayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai Mechayeh hakol אתה קדוש ושמך קדוש, וקדושים בכל יום יהללוך סלה. ברוך אתה אדוני, האל הקדוש.
We'll continue silently and feel free to be seated when you are ready. We'll come back together for the prayer for peace.
Page 60. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Amcha Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav al Yisrael Tasim Leolam, Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecha Shalom, Ki Ata Hu Melech Adon Lecha Shalom, V'tov לברך את עמך ישראל בכל עת ובכל שעה בשלומך. ברוך אתה אדוני המברך את עמו ישראל בשלום.
We take this moment in our service to offer a prayer for health and healing. You can find the words to Misha Berach on page 253. We especially think of loved ones, members of our family and community who are ill at this time as we pray for healing of their bodies and spirits and pray for those who care for them as well. We are especially praying for Colin Monroe, Janet Watson, Elizabeth Hill, Enrico Mascaro, Benjamin Horowitz, Bradley Dichter, Mateo Goldman, Toby Weiner, Esia Rushavskaya, Eileen Arnone, Jean Sands, Roseanne Cohen, Tom Fiorino, Barry Levine, Carolyn Weil, Stephen Driscoll, Richard Slifka, Marshall Lukoff, Jerry Spingarn, Caroline Spingarn, Beth Gottlieb, Sue Devaney, Kirby Druffel, Stanley Altman, Abraham Ben Chana Levy, Ida Kublin. There are other names you'd like to mention.
is before us. Help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen. Misheberach imotenu bekor habracha leavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
Shabbat Shalom. It may not come as a surprise to you that I love prayer. I especially love Shabbat prayer. It's not just because I'm a rabbi. Long before I became a rabbi, I actually liked going to services. I didn't always want to go. Sometimes, especially as a kid, it felt long and boring. But from a young age, I can remember feeling drawn to the special words of the prayer book, our Siddur, being comforted by the warm embrace of community, and even singing the music in my head for days after the service at home or in school. There's much about the experience of prayer that stays with me even long after the service is done. Judaism does many things well, and I think one of the best aspects of Judaism is the value of communal prayer. While it may not be for everyone all the time, being fully welcomed into a prayer community is something not to be taken for granted. As Jews, we mourn and we celebrate together. Our community is here when we need it, holding us up in comfort and with blessing. This is why I was especially disheartened and disturbed to hear just a week ago from Cantor Louise Treitman, our Cantor Emerita, about her very recent experience at her own granddaughter's bat mitzvah in Israel. Now, as much as I am thrilled to have Lisa Marcus Jones with us tonight, and I hope you are all enjoying the music, as some of you know, Cantor Treitman was planning to be here this Shabbat, came back from Israel with COVID, and is fortunately testing negative, feeling much better, but seems to be suffering from the same thing I had, which is a lingering cough post-COVID, which makes it hard for her to sing. So she looks forward to sharing her voice, hopefully another time soon. She was just in Israel with her family celebrating her granddaughter Zoe's bat mitzvah. And by the way, she was going to share some of this, so I'm kind of sharing on her behalf. The bat mitzvah took place on Rosh Chodesh Tammuz, the start of the newest Hebrew month. And her family started that morning by joining Women of the Wall, a prayer group that meets monthly on every Rosh Chodesh. I have spoken on several occasions here from our Temple Beth David Bima about my own experience with this group, Women of the Wall. They are an amazing, courageous, pluralistic group of women who pray together or attempt to pray together and read Torah at the Kotel, the Western Wall in Jerusalem. The group is made up of women and women supporters of all denominations, including many participants who identify as Orthodox. If you are new to the story of Women of the Wall, I'm not going to get into very much history tonight. You're welcome to Google Women of the Wall. You'll see their whole story. But basically, it goes back to the 1980s when they started to meet in Jerusalem. And the difficulties that they have experienced have to do with kind of the lack of separation of religion and state in the state of Israel. And that public prayer sites, such as the Western Wall, are guided by the ultra-Orthodox rabbinate in Jerusalem. So this poses particular issues for women who try to gather and lead and participate in prayer and lead prayer. And I've joined them many times when I've been in Jerusalem. And lastly, I'll just share that those who went on our Temple Beth David Israel trip a few years ago, we had the special opportunity to say a blessing together, not at the Kotel itself, but in recent years, part of a compromise with the state of Israel was to create an egalitarian section where men and women can pray together just adjacent to the Kotel. And that's where our Beth David group gathered. This is all relevant to Cantor Trautman's experience, and I'm going to share with you in her own words. So she wrote, "I am so proud of my granddaughter Zoe, who wrote a beautiful poem, which I'll share in a little bit, as part of her bat mitzvah service that took place on Rosh Chodesh Tammuz in Jerusalem." By the way, her poem is posted on the Women of the Wall webpage. "We started off that day, June 30th, going to the Women of the Wall service at the women's side of the Kotel. It was difficult and chaotic, as there were girls, young and old women, yelling at us, blowing whistles, and trying to disrupt the prayer in any way they could. We weren't surprised. We knew this was going to happen, and this is why Zoe wrote her poem. After the service, we joined the group with a police escort from the Kotel. We went to the egalitarian part of the Kotel where Zoe's bat mitzvah was scheduled, along with several other Reform and conservative families. Unfortunately, the mob of ultra-Orthodox boys that had been disrupting the Women of the Wall service decided to disrupt the multiple B'nai Mitzvah at our area as well, tearing up prayer books and yelling anti-Semitic words to us and to our families. We did not expect Zoe's bat mitzvah to be disrupted, and we were horrified. I gather it took some time, and Cantor Trautman continues, once we could start our service, Zoe led it beautifully and chanted Torah beautifully as well, and we are so proud." Now, if you're surprised to hear this or disturbed to hear this, I would just offer a few responses to the question that is probably in our minds of what we can do about this. So I'll just mention a few things. Number one, we are part of the greater reform movement that has a presence in Israel. The Israel Religious Action Center is an organization that continues to offer their assistance to egalitarian groups that are trying to be present at the Kotel. Number two, and I think I shared this by email a long time ago, but it's worth sharing again. So Temple Beth David, our own Temple Beth David in Westwood, actually has a partnership with Women of the Wall. It's called a leadership initiative, and this was thanks to a generous member of our congregation. That part of this partnership is helping to bring new groups of students and new groups of people to learn about Women of the Wall, to help educate this issue of the need for pluralism and equality at the Wall. So if you're interested in hearing more about Temple Beth David's partnership, please talk to me, because I'll be glad to share it with you and send you some information. It's, I guess, a little bit behind the scenes, but worth bringing to our attention again. And the third piece is going back to how I started, strengthening our prayer communities here, because strong egalitarian prayer presence here does extend beyond our walls to Israel, to around the world and beyond. And communities everywhere look to us here in America to see our strong prayer communities. Now I want to end with Zoe's poem and kind of her bat mitzvah experience in her own words. But first, I'll just share that I believe Zoe Treitman, who I have not met, but I believe that she is walking in the light of young women who have come before her. And by that, I specifically mean this week's Torah portion, Pinchas, in the book of Numbers. Our Torah portion highlights the story of the daughters of Zelophehad. Again, Zelophehad, you have to practice that like 10 times. But we can't leave the Shabbat without recognizing these 5 women. The Torah portion speaks of their disenfranchisement, their injustice of inheritance laws around the land, which of course only men could inherit. So Zelophehad died with no sons and just his 5 daughters. And they all are named in the Torah, so I'm going to name them all: Machla, Noah, Holga, Milcah, and Tirzah. There's going to be a test on this after. Machla, Noah, Holga, Milcah, Tirzah. Again, women are not often named in the Torah, so it's important to recognize that all 5 are named. So after their father's death, they approached Moses with their case that they should inherit their family's land. Well, Moses didn't know what to do, so he brought the question to God. By the way, this question is the 4th and final time that Moses consulted with God on a matter of a legal question. So I like to say the daughters of Zelophehad had the last say in terms of Moses and God's relationship. Well, when Moses brought the question to God, God responded affirmatively, saying, "The plea of Zelophehad's daughters is just." So that phrase, that short phrase, became a game changer, really, for generations forth, and becomes a model for the fight for freedom and justice in all generations. Their plea, of course, especially rings true here in America today. So we're going to remember these names, Machla, Noah, Holga, Milcah, and Tirzah, and add Zoe to this list of names as well. And of course, invite all of us to add our names. So she wrote a poem in honor of her bat mitzvah, knowing that there might be some difficulties. And her poem, again, I think, affirms the importance of prayer community, the importance of all of us feeling welcome and included, the importance of all of us adding our voices to the chain of Jewish tradition. So I will end in her words. She titled her poem, "All We Want." All we want to do is read a holy text in a holy place, but we are not allowed. All we want to do is stand for what we think is truly fair, but we are not permitted. All we want to do is sing. When our voices call to be heard, they try to drown us out. They do not want to hear. But we are here. We are standing, singing, chanting, reading. All we want to do is pray. Shabbat Shalom. We'll continue our Shabbat service, our Shabbat celebration tomorrow morning. You can join our Leilad Minyan at 9 a.m. here in our sanctuary or on Zoom. Who's leading tomorrow, Mark? I think Rich is. Rich is leading us. Rich Lustig, who you know, Rich Lustig. So yes. So again, Lisa has many connections here at Beth David, and I will just share. So I met Lisa because Lisa is one of my sisters. Cantors out in Westboro at B'nai Shalom in Westboro. So I was out there at services and met Lisa. So again, Lisa is hopefully going to be several musical leaders in our community this year, along with others and Rabbi Micah, and we'll look forward to continuing to sing with you. So,
As do I.
thank you. Yes, and in addition to guitar and piano, Lisa's also a flute player, so we might, maybe, do a duet. We'll see. But then you all have to promise to sing, because if we're both playing, we can't sing. So. All other information you can find in your weekly shofar email, so take a look. Again, some other things we'll be picking up again in August, including some social action opportunities, study opportunities, Shabbat services as well. And again, we will be outdoors if the weather cooperates again next week. Just a thank you to Pat Aronson and Rachel Ziegler for ushering tonight and welcoming us. Thank you, Mike Reese, for hearing the call last week and bringing some cookies. So we've got a light oneg after. So again, just hope we can take a moment to greet one another after our service. Say hello if there's a face you don't know, because this is how we do strengthen our prayer communities. We're going to move into our concluding prayers. You can find Aleinu L'Shabeach on page 282, and if you're able, we rise.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'tekdu l'aliotzer breshit, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגורלנו ככל המונה. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. Page 287. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא היום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו
We turn now to page 291 as we take this moment to remember loved ones who are no longer with us. There are stars up above so far away we only see their light long, long after the star itself is gone. And so it is with people that we loved. Their memories keep shining ever brightly, though their time with us is done. But the stars that light up the darkest night, these are the lights that guide us. As we live our days, these are the ways we remember. We are especially remembering these loved ones who have passed away in recent weeks for the period of Shloshim. Amy Fastberg-Kurz, sister of Lisa Fastberg-Weller, sister-in-law of Dan Weller, and aunt of Sophie. Ofra Bat Chana, relative of Avi Glazer. And we remember these loved ones whose yahrzeit, whose anniversary of death occurred this week. William I. Birch, Irene Friedman, Jimmy Hirschberg, Stella Hawk, Phyllis LeBlanc, Murray Litton, Betty Loie Lustig, Jay Neinstein, June Ringel, Tim Spillane, Nellie Weiner. If there are other names you are remembering, you may share them with us. We turn to page 294 for Mourner's Kaddish. Yid Gadal v'yid Kadash Shemei Rabbah be'alma divra chirute v'yamlich malchute b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael b'gala uv'izman kariv v'imru amen. Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevorach le'olam ul'almei almaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitalev v'yithalal shemei dekudsha brichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata da'miran be'alma v'imru amen. Yehi shlama rabba min shemaya V'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav, hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imru amen. Zichronam levracha, may their memories be for a blessing. Speaking of blessing, we are going to join in the blessings of Kiddush and Motzi now, and then can enjoy something a little sweet. And after the blessings, we'll conclude with one more prayer for peace. You can find Kiddush on page 5, but I am wondering if maybe one of our kids here can help out. So I'm just noticing our challah is not covered. So, or Pat, maybe do you know where the challah cover is? Back in the kitchen, in a drawer. See, here, oh, is it? Oh, we can always use my talit bag. Okay, but here's the thing. So, we do Shabbat blessings with our Shalom Corner preschool kids, and they start yelling challah when we lift the cover off. So we need the drama, but I always learned that the challah is covered so it doesn't get jealous, because it's the last blessing, because you do candles, wine, challah. So we don't want our challah to get jealous, but we'll continue with Kiddush.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav ve'atzavanu v'shabbat kodsho v'ahava ratzon hifilanu zikaron lemaseh bereshit kibuyon tefila lamikrahe kodesh zecher letziat mitzrayim kivanu bachata v'tanu kidashta mikomim v'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava u'beratzon inchatanu. Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh Shabbat.
L'chaim. Anyone not yet bar and bat mitzvah want to come up for Motzi? We'll join in Motzi. And I forgot to mention, Mark, Albie, and I were wearing our Women of the Wall talit. So if you support the group, you too can get a very nice looking talit. All right, let's bless. Now I can take the cover off.
And we scream challah. Challah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, המוציא לחם מן הארץ. Shabbat Shalom.
So we will bring it over to the table, and let's join in our concluding song, which asks that God who makes peace above bring peace here amongst all peoples and amongst us. You know the words. Or you can find them on 294 at the bottom.
Actually, it's 62. I had the wrong page
62.
number, but they are found on the page 62 at the bottom. la la la